right, I am driving over to Abigail's soccer game, and I've got my eyes on the road here, but I want to record something that has been really inspirational for me recently. Psalm chapter 107. Now, this psalm has come alive to me in the most remarkable way. It is titled, "Let the Redeemed of the Lord Say So." And yet, this psalm is actually about the chesed, the steadfast love of the Lord. It should be called the steadfast love, because the first verse starts with the steadfast love, the last verse ends with the steadfast love, and four different people in between all experience the steadfast love of the Lord. And who are those four people? Well, I'll tell you. The first one is the hungry refugee. The second one is the rebellious prisoner who rebels against the words and will of God. The third person that receives the chesed love of the Lord is the sinful reprobate, the person who has iniquities, which is a fancy word for sin. And the fourth person that experiences the chesed love of the Lord are the witless businessmen, the businessmen who are out on the high seas and they are at their wits' end. So these four people are pretty helpless and hopeless, and all they do is one thing: cry out to the Lord, and He delivers them. They just cry out. And what do? What happens to them? They experience the chesed, the love, steadfast love of the Lord and His wondrous works. So, get ready for the most awesome adventure traveling through the chesed, steadfast love of the Lord in Psalm chapter 107. Here it goes. You ready? It says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His steadfast love, His chesed, endures forever." Then it says, "Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, who He has redeemed from trouble and gathered in from the lands, from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south." Four directions: east, west, north, south. Four people, and here they are. Some I'm driving here, hold on. Here's the first of them. Some wandered in desert wastes. They're refugees. They're wandering with no home. Some wandered in desert wastes, finding no way to a city to dwell in. Hungry and thirsty, their souls fainted within them. Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and He delivered them from their distress. He led them by a straight way till they reached a city to dwell in. Let them thank the Lord for His chesed, His steadfast love, and His wondrous works for the children of men. For He satisfies the longing soul, and the hungry soul He fills with good things. I love it. 2. Some sat in darkness and in the shadow of death, prisoners in affliction and in irons. For they had rebelled against the words of God and spurned the counsel of the Most High. So he bowed their hearts down with hard labor. They fell down with none to help them. Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He brought them out of darkness and the shadow of death and burst their bonds apart. I love it. Guess what? Let them thank the Lord for his chesed, his steadfast love, and his wondrous works for the children of man. For he shatters the doors of bronze and cuts in two the bars of iron that held them prisoner. Third people, some were fools through their sinful ways, and because of their iniquities suffered affliction. They were really sick. They loathed all food, and they grew near to the gates of death. Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He sent out his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction. Let them thank the Lord for his chesed and steadfast love, his wondrous works to the children of man. And let them offer sacrifices of thanksgiving and tell of his deeds in songs of joy. Woo! Number 4, some went down to the sea in ships doing business on the great waters. They saw the deeds of the Lord, his wondrous works in the deep. For he commanded and raised the stormy wind, which lifted up the waves of the sea. They mounted up to the heaven, they went down to the depths. Their courage melted away in their evil plight, and they were at their wits' end. Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He made the sea be still, and the waves of the sea were hushed. Let them thank the Lord for his chesed, steadfast love, and his wondrous works for the children of man. Actually, I think I might have forgot one verse in there where it says they were glad that the waters were quiet, and he brought them to their desired haven. So, check this out. He makes... I need to check this out here. Hold on a second. He turns rivers into a desert. He turns springs of water into thirsty ground, a fruitful land into a salty waste because of the evil of its inhabitants. 3 good things into bad. He turns a desert into pools of water. He turns a parched land into springs of water. And there the hungry dwell. And there the hungry establish a city to dwell in. They sow fields and plant vineyards and get a fruitful yield. And he does not let their cattle diminish. That's a good thing, I guess. When they are diminished and brought low through oppression, evil, and sorrow, he pours contempt on princes and makes them wander in trackless wastes. But he raises up the needy out of affliction and makes their families like flocks. The righteous see it and are glad, and all wickedness shuts its mouth. Whoever is wise, let him attend to these things. Let them consider the chesed, steadfast love of the Lord. Isn't that cool?